I'm not good with painting white and applying it smoothly, so today I'm painting a squad of clone troopers and a stormtrooper marksman. And to avoid my poor painting abilities with using white, I'll be painting them as if they came right out of the Clone Wars animated show. The paint I'm using for their armor will be Games Workshop's Contrast Paint Apothecary White, along with the Army Painter's Spaceship Exterior and Matte White. And I can already hear you asking, if you're so bad with white, why not base them white and just paint in the black details? Well, I didn't really think of that, so here I am. The first step is to base the white armor in Apothecary White. It's more of a gray than white when it dries, which is perfect for starting the shadows and building up from there. Instead of trying to build up from a black base coat, I'm working up from a much lighter gray. I'm not really good with smoothly applying contrast or speed paints yet, which is fine for this because any drastic shifts are covered up by the layers of paint later. I want to do my best at this stage to avoid the body glove for now and just get the armor. Once I get one coat of paint on with a model, I just move to the next one and do it again. Once the contrast paint has dried, I bring out the spaceship exterior. It's an off-white with a little bit of gray, or a really light gray that's almost white. However you want to describe it, I take one of those flat brushes and make short, quick strokes across the armor. I like to start on the areas that would be brightest from the light, and as less paint is on the brush, I go to the more shadowed areas where I can build up how much paint is applied to the model. Now I use an actual dry brush. These are from a 23-piece set from Nick Pro on Amazon, and I'm using the size 5 dry brush to apply the matte white. Once again, I'm starting from the top where the armor would be brightest and work my way down. This allows me, like with the spaceship exterior, to be more intentional where I build up the color and make more realistic reflections for that iconic shining armor. This is where the effect really starts to show, as now the 3 layers of white are working together to build the highlights and shadows. I go over the whole body, and the dry brush will leave the recesses dark, and I can build up the strength of the matte white, like I said earlier, to help make a smoother transition between the paints. I'm also dry brushing their blasters with the white, which will finish later after the armor is complete. One of the biggest problems with white paint is how chalky it can get if not thinned properly, and with all this white it's guaranteed to look extra chalky. So to help smooth the colors, grab some Null oil from Games Workshop and cover all of the armor in it. Not only does it smooth out the paint, but it can help blend the colors a little bit more, making everything come together nicely. The wash also gives contrast in the corners, recesses, and edges, adding a sharper shadow, as well as giving a slightly more dirtied look to the armor. I also like to put extra Nuln oil on the helmets to really get the definition of the recessed parts of the helmet. But that's just me. A single coat would look just as good. Unfortunately, I didn't record the last step of the armor, but I take the smallest dry brush I have, a size 3, and go over the armor one more time with matte white. I try and get as much paint off the brush as I can and lightly get the parts of the armor I want brightest. like the helmet, shoulder pads, and outsides of the legs of the troopers, anywhere I think the sun would be hitting the armor directly. Once that's complete, it's time for the details. I'm using Games Workshop's Basicillum Gray contrast paint and going over all their weapons first. The gray over the dry brushed white helps make the blaster stand out instead of just black. It's a little way to smooth out the color and make the blasters have that dull metallic shine. I also go over any pauldrons and extra bits and bobs the clones might have, like that thermal detonator, with the gray. Then it's Games Workshop's Black Legion contrast paint for the body glove. Nothing too special about that. I go with a smaller brush head to help get the tiny areas and avoid accidentally painting onto the armor itself. But if you do get some on the armor, you can fix it up with a paintbrush and a little bit of white. Oh, and with another thin brush, I'll use the black to color in the visor. I try and keep as little contrast paint on the brush to avoid overflowing the visor and having it spill over. I've done that a couple times. While we watch me color in the body glove, thank you for watching this video. This is more of a way to creatively challenge myself more than anything else, as well as share and show my hobby and main way to decompress over the weekend and after work. I can't promise a schedule, but I do have a few ideas for future videos, including a Bad Batch diorama, painting the ODST box set from Halo Flashpoint that I was commissioned to do, and painting the Age of Darkness Horus Heresy set and Loyalist Isvan 3 soldiers. And hopefully you stick around for those, whenever I can get them out. Now, for clones that lost their helmets in the heat of battle, painting their faces is pretty easy. I use tanned flesh from the army painter as my base, and get 2 thin coats down over where all their skin is. While that dries, I use Games Workshop's Corvus Black for the hair. Corvus Black has a little blue tint to it, and I feel it's a little more natural than a matte black, but you can use whatever color you want. Once the skin is dry, I use Games Workshop's Reichland Flesh Shade to add a bit of warmth to the skin tone and darken it. Once that's dry, I pick out a few highlights with the tanned flesh. The eyebrows, nose, chin, cheeks, and maybe the lips are all I really need to make him look just about done. And for the eyes, I use the tiniest bit of red shade, which can make an illusion where the eyes seem painted. And with that, the clones are done. Thank you all so much for watching and stopping by in my atelier. Enjoy the rest of your day.